Welcome to Premium Cashflow Real Estate Investing Podcast with Sakar Cowley. During this program, you will hear guest experts sharing their experiences, best practices, and market insights. We discuss investing in multifamily apartment complexes and how a busy professional can passively invest hassle-free in various opportunities. Your host, Sakar Cowley, owns millions of dollars of assets and has done thousands of value-add projects over 20 years now. So listen in for insights. Here's your host, Sakar Cowley.
Welcome to another edition of Premium Cashflow Podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Preston Walls with Walls Property Management out of Seattle. Welcome to the show, Preston. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Sakar. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Today, Preston and his company manages well over 800 properties spread across about 80 buildings or so. Preston has been in property management for a couple of decades, and his family has been in real estate as well. So Preston brings in a varied depth of background, right from his grandfather to his father. Now he's been property manager for over 20 years. So his group comprises of construction, property management, leasing, maintenance technicians, and all the different arms within the property management. So with his expertise today, we are going to learn some of the best practices and some challenges that Preston is seeing in the marketplace today. So thank you for your time today, Preston. I appreciate you coming on today.
You bet. I'm excited to be here and happy to speak with you.
Awesome. Kindly help us get started, Preston, regarding, just a brief background of yours, how you kind of, came into property management today.
Yeah, I really didn't have a choice to get into property management. It was thrust upon me from an early age. Some of my earliest memories of holidays and family weekends were spent with my dad, changing elements and water heaters, and I would go with him on construction projects when he was framing walls on buildings that he was working on. Mm-hmm. And then during high school and college, I had a painting business. I worked on mainly exterior painting of the apartment buildings in the portfolio. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was he was a professor in Seattle, and he had some student housing adjacent to campus, and so he would manage that. I thought I was gonna break out of it, and I tried. I went to school on the East Coast, and I was certain I was gonna work on Wall Street. That mm-hmm. lasted 4 years before I got burnt out, and my dad had been kind of lightly working on me to move back to Seattle and get into the real estate business on a just a different capacity. He was getting going on a ground up construction project, wanted some help on that. So I finally made it back to Seattle, and we built a couple buildings together, and I learned the renovation and construction aspects, and mm-hmm. and certainly the property management from him. We worked together for 6 years, and then he retired in 2008, right as the economy was falling apart. He said it's yours from here on out. So I've been on my own since then.
Awesome. So give us a sense, Preston, regarding, how many properties you manage today, what sort of different departments and the staff, sort of the organizational chart of your company today.
Yeah, we manage about 80 properties in Seattle, all multifamily or some mixed use with a retail component on the ground floor. About 2/3 of those properties are either mine or some family ownership structure, and the rest are third party property management clients.
Sure.
We try to handle as much in-house as possible and really know the market and control as many variables as possible. So our model is value add, and we do a lot of renovation to both properties we acquire and ongoing renovation. We hold properties a long time, and so some of them are on second and third generations of renovations that have happened in those properties. So we have a construction management team that coordinates renovation of those properties. We have a maintenance team that's in-house. We have leasing in-house as well, and then the back office functions, accounting and marketing.
I see. Thank you for that deep dive and wide-ranging department overview of yours. So now regarding property management, there's just so much to delve into, Preston, in terms of what are the best practices, how to kind of set up the books and things like that. So when you initially take on a property or you have a new owner onboarding that happens, right? Give us a sense, Preston, as to what you look for in the prospective sort of a unit or a multifamily building that you are onboarding, and also what some of the things you would like to see from the actual owners who are coming to you.
Yeah, so much of the process depends on the quality or the integrity of the data that you get coming in. I mean, the more information that you have, the better and easier it's going to be for everyone. I mean,
sure.
take just basic information. You'd be shocked at how many buildings don't have accurate square footage measures, right? And
sure.
Then are there quality interior pictures of the units or representative floor plans? So those kinds of things, they're certainly first and foremost. And what type of historical data is there, and that leads to ideas and opportunities. What's been managed well, and what opportunities are there to do something different? Are the hallways getting cleaned frequently enough? The yard being maintained frequently enough? Those are the kinds of opportunities we'll see in onboarding information come in and look to address going forward.
Sure. Now, Preston, one of the sort of things that we do internally, and as I shared with you, and with our listeners always, is that internally we manage here, my own 200 unit, between single family, multifamily, and things like that. We manage all that vertically, right? So we have a system as far as what sort of colors, the SKUs, and things like that we typically use. Give us a sense of how your group systematizes the renovations and maintenance of things for various units that you manage.
Yeah, I mean, just managing paint colors alone is a huge process, and I mean, a lot goes into that. We have opted for one uniform paint color with a body color, trim color, and then an optional accent wall. So I guess that's three paint colors across all of the family buildings, and that just that makes maintaining inventory of paint and reordering that much easier. For third party buildings. Certainly a challenge. Hopefully you get that information from an owner. Hopefully there's existing inventory of paint on site that can get inputted into the property management software, so that that information exists somewhere other than a maintenance storage location at the building.
Mhm, mhm. Got it. Got it. You're absolutely correct. I mean, the amount of detail and variety is so much that I think having sort of an accurate system as to, what color schemes or, what skew or what tiles and things like that you're using is goes an absolute long way. Now, Preston, um, you shared earlier that you have many buildings that are old or perhaps coming into the sort of the second generation or the second iteration of their renovations and things like that. Uh, Kindly explain us, Preston, as to how your renovation strategy is and how has it changed over the years. Like what things you do, or perhaps what things you were not doing before that you're doing now.
Yeah, it it has evolved tremendously over time. I would say starting off, I was very cautious on the scope of renovation. Right, only targeting the the aspects that are going to have the highest return on investment.
Sure,
So.
sure. Mm-hmm.
Things like removing carpet for a solid surface flooring, granite countertops, stainless appliances. Those were kind of the core. And then as the market's gotten more competitive, as the market's gotten more expensive, Seattle is a very supply constrained environment. It's really difficult to go through the entitlement process and bring new product online. So that skews towards a higher end product. All the new construction is not just class A, but it's class very A. I mean, a lot of money goes into this, and so it creates this vacuum, this void to skew up, and that allows for an opportunity to spend more on a renovation. So over time, that renovation budget has increased pretty gradually, and that involves putting in more features, more technology, things like smart home features into renovation. So lights that you can dim from an app on your phone, adjusting the thermostat, unlocking your door remotely to let a housekeeper or delivery into your space. And those kinds of things I would have never envisioned 5 or 10 years ago on an existing asset.
Sure. And what about some of the interior features, Preston? Like, are you doing any exotic kitchens with all kinds of nice backsplashes, or in the bathrooms, things like that, or perhaps are doing any opening the walls between the kitchen or dining to give it a more open layout concept and things like that? What about some of those changes?
One standard feature that goes into all of our renovations is heated tile floors. So
nice.
We're taking up linoleum and putting in tile. There's a heat mat going in. Wherever we have a shower, we're putting in a frameless shower door. Certainly in kitchens, they're getting backsplashes, granite countertops, new cabinetry as high end as we can go, with soft closing hinges, counter depth refrigerators, those kind of features. In terms of opening things up, that's an interesting aspect, and I'm a little bit mixed on this. Certainly where possible, opening it up, and we do move walls around. But one opportunity that I've seen or seen in the market is, all of this costs a lot of money, and ultimately that translates to higher rent. And how do you how do you maintain affordability when you're adding these things in?
Sure.
And one way we've gone about doing that is splitting the rent more ways. So if it's a 2-bedroom, we'll convert it into a 3-bedroom, or just adding a bedroom to the existing
floor
square
plan
footage that's
sure.
there to repurpose it. And that was kind of a trait that I learned from living in Manhattan for a few years. There's so much density and there's so much demand for space that people are willing to live in smaller spaces if it means living in the location that they want to live, and having nice features and nice amenities in their space.
Sure. Now, adding the bedrooms kind of gets interesting, Preston. Give us some details about, how low you can go, or how creatively you can add a bedroom or like a partition of sorts to, convert existing space or add a bedroom to it, basically.
Yeah, the biggest opportunity that I see, well, so let me back up. So my first choice is to reclaim common area space. If there's a way to increase the net rentable square footage of a property, and maybe that's an adjacent laundry room. If you're putting washer and dryers in all the units, now your laundry room is obsolete, and you can incorporate that into an adjacent unit, and that becomes a bedroom or bedroom bathroom. So that's first choice. And then aside from that, the dining room is like a dodo bird to me. They're going away. That space is so much better utilized in urban environments as a bedroom, as habitable space. So I would look to convert dining space into a bedroom, as long as you can work it out with the kitchen and still keep the kitchen as open to the living room as possible.
Sure. Now, speaking of costs, Preston, what sort of cost, your group is spending on some of these renovation? And of course, it's all a, sort of a derivative of how much work you're doing, what sort of packages and things like that you're adding. But give us a sense of, like, let's say if you get an old, tired, single family house of sorts, right? And you try to sort of convert it to a existing sort of a style of yours that currently your group does. Give us a sense of, like, what sort of capital expenditure we are talking about for these style of conversions.
Yeah, so without seeing the space, without knowing anything about it, I would budget somewhere between $100,000 and $125,000 for an existing unit renovation. So like studio to 2-bedroom is kind of the range. A smaller space, obviously, the lower end on the dollar amount. And for creating a new space within the existing footprint of a building, so whether that's taking a storage room and a laundry room, or maybe a carport parking space, and converting that into a unit, you've got a little more expense in groundwork, getting plumbing in and siding and whatnot. I budget 150 to 160 for creating a new unit.
Sure. Now, for our listeners, Preston, help us understand the kind of the cost of the homes, or sort of the general rent range within your market. Like where we operate, obviously we are operating within properties that are, in that 150K to 200K type of, townhouses that are renting for 1700 sort of rent range, right? But every market is different. The kind of amenities you add are different and things like that. So I'd like to understand that, if you're spending that much money into renovations or adding a bedroom of sorts, there has to be a good financial reason for it to, make, numbers have to make sense, as we say, right? Give us a sense of, what the real estate market is like, what sort of acquisition prices we are talking, what sort of, rental rates we are speaking of here.
Yeah, and that context is so important because
Sure.
These urban capital appreciation markets are really so different than cash flow markets.
Sure.
But that's part of the beauty. And it's what I love about real estate is there's so many different ways to go about it. In Seattle, and it's hard to just take a metric generally in the urban core. I'd say the price per square foot for typical building acquisition is in the $425 to $450 a foot, and so that's roughly $350, $375 per door that you're acquiring a property for. And then new construction, significantly higher. Those properties are going to trade, I don't know, $600 to $800 per square foot.
Wow.
Depending on unit size and probably, I don't know, five to 600,000 per door. So how do I think about it, and how do I justify spending that much money? So on a renovation, in order to put that kind of money in, you're going to need to acquire it for somewhere below the average price going in, but being below the average is going to mean there's a lot of things wrong with the property, or there's just there's structural deficiencies with the property that replacing the flooring, appliances, and cabinetry is not going to fix. It's not going to transform the building to a more elevated property class. And so I'm looking to take a B- building and turn it into a B+ building, and that level of overall renovation is what it takes in this market to really reposition it and do the exterior work, the landscaping, repaint the building, new windows, upgrade the communication systems that will move a property into a new category. Sure.
And what sort of rent are we talking about, Preston? Like typically, how much do you get rent-wise for a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, for that matter?
A 2-bedroom, I'd say low to mid 2000s, so 22 to 26.
Sure.
Once it's renovated.
Sure.
And then 3 bedrooms, probably around 3,000, 3,300.
I see. Definitely. I mean, it makes complete sense based on, how much you're spending, of course, your rents are higher as well. Now, moving on, Preston, your group does syndications as well. Give us some details about, how those syndication opportunities came about and what sort of projects you have done so far.
Yeah. I love doing deals. I love finding these opportunities and just seeing the opportunity and wanting to make it work. And syndications grew out of doing some deals and having some success and having some fun doing it, and then running out of money. Right?
Sure.
It's where a lot of operators find themselves
Absolutely.
as you go forward. And
Sure.
the first syndication that I did, I didn't want to do it as a syndication, but I didn't have the money to do it all on my own, and I got a group of 10 or 12 friends and family members together, and we put up the equity, and that's been a fabulous investment for everyone, and it's kind of grown and scaled from there. But the typical syndication that we do is a heavy value add renovation. Require existing buildings that are in need of some TLC, and take them apart, put them back together again, and add new units where available and where zoning allows for.
Sure. Awesome. Now, Preston, as COVID pandemic hit, right? We have been thrown into many challenges, especially for property management, whether, how do you do maintenance, or perhaps, upgrades, or some ongoing sort of things that you may have going on. Leasing has significantly changed in terms of how we adapt and respond to different customers and things like that. In your group, how has been the impact, and how have your company adjusted to the COVID restrictions?
Yeah, it's a great question, and just so timely with everything going on.
Sure.
So starting piece by piece, on the maintenance side, maintenance has slowed down tremendously, and it causes a lot of concern that there's effectively this deferred maintenance building up, right? Because just because people are not wanting you in their space, just by being in their space more, that's causing more wear and tear, more deterioration of the interior space. So that maintenance work orders are happening, but they're just not being reported in the way that they have been in the past. One way we've mitigated this is we've started doing virtual work orders. So the maintenance technician will do a Zoom call with the resident in the space to help resolve. They've sent materials to their space if something's needed to fix something. But it's a way of help to get around that idea of we don't want anyone in our space.
Sure. If things are like to be done by self-help, you can maybe deliver the materials and try to kind of guide them. Is that kind of what you're alluding to, I guess?
Yeah, and the easiest ones, or the biggest wins on that are garbage disposals that that we usually have the Allen key taped to the garbage disposal, and walk the resident through where the crank goes and how to free up a jammed garbage disposal.
Sure.
And then some electrical issues, GFIs that trip, how to trace that to
thermostats and different things.
Trip breakers. I mean, things that seem so intuitive, but for someone who's in their first or second apartment that they've never been in, it's an unknown.
Right. How has leasing changed? I mean, a lot of people went into doing a video and electronic sort of showings, and before they can, sort of personally walking in the prospects into the unit. Give us a sense of how you adapted the leasing side of things.
Yeah, the leasing side has changed tremendously, right? And a lot of it's been just restriction driven on how many people can be at a tour at any given time. So it's created a lot of demand for virtual tours, for video tours. We've seen an increase in leases signed sight unseen. So just based on the video tour and the pictures, we've worked to incentivize that and mitigate the risk to residents by offering them a 90-day free trial, so they can get out of their lease with no lease break repercussions for that duration if they get there and they decide they don't like it, or they lose their job due to COVID and everything else going on. That's taken some of the risk off the table for residents coming in.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Another way we've been able to leverage technology during this time is through artificial intelligence, right? We've partnered with our property management company to roll out AI across our leasing funnel, and that has been just an absolute game changer on generating new leads and working those through the system.
I see. How does that help the artificial system? Give us some details. Viewers would like to know that what it is and what it does, so that they can also try to implement within their own sort of property management systems.
Yeah, it's so the parameters are input up front, right? The AI bot knows the lease terms. It knows the building conditions and parameters. Right. It knows all of the specific details. So it can answer all of these questions that a prospective resident might have in real time.
Sure.
Hey, what's the pet deposit? Do you allow dogs? Are there breed restrictions? So all of these questions are answered via text message from a non-human, and it's absolutely phenomenal to see these exchanges that happen between prospective residents who think they're communicating with a human being and is delivering really just timely, high quality information in a typical week. So right now we have just over 50 vacancies that we're working to fill. This AI bot last week sent just over 4,000 text messages to prospective tenants that are looking at places, and a lot of these are scheduling questions. So it coordinates all of the scheduling for the leasing agents, right? The leasing agents put in their calendar. These are the hours, these are the days, and these are the hours that I'm available to show apartments. And the AI bot fills in those times with interested parties.
Awesome. Thank you for that detailed overview there, Preston. Now, moving on, Preston, one of the key elements in sort of the relationship with owners and property managers is kind of setting expectations as to what sort of unit you will be, what are the time frames of certain things to be done. There is accounting, there's reporting and things like that. So when you onboard new owners and their properties, what are some of the questions or guidelines or some rules that you set up with them to avoid any sort of future conflict or friction for that matter? Give us a sense of what is your process? What exactly do you do?
Yeah, I found that, the the best thing that you can do to facilitate that, because you don't know what the hot buttons are going to be. You don't know where the landmines are going to be. So the best mitigant is communication, and communicating frequently, and even within the reports, the more communication and the more information that's in there, the more the owner is going to feel like they're getting what they need. I mean,
absolutely.
The owner packets that we send out include a detailed synopsis over the month of cash moving in and out. And so, for a for property, this can be a lengthy report, and each of the maintenance items is listed on there. How much time was spent, and here's a description of what the maintenance technician did. At the property, at the unit. It includes what the resident reported as the problem, what the resolution was. So getting as much detail as possible in there, that's been the single best thing that's that's alleviated stress between owners and management company.
Right. Awesome. All wise words. Thank you for sharing your experience, Preston. It's been a pleasure. Please share with the listeners how they can find you and learn more about your company.
Yes, Walls Property Management is my company, and Preston Walls. I'm most active on LinkedIn, so that's a great place to find me as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And viewers and listeners of our podcast can also, learn more about, expert guests like Preston, who is there at premiumcashflow.com. You can also reach to us via the website. If you are interested in investing with us or learning more about different opportunities that we may have from time to time, kindly go to link titled Invest With Us. With that, you can register yourself, and we can jump on a small conversation about what you're looking to do, what your goals are, and depending on that, we can definitely suggest you different opportunities and things like that. All projects and all opportunities are come with full disclosure and legal paperwork regarding private placement memorandums and things like that. So thank you for coming on to the show, Preston. It's been a pleasure having you. I look forward to having you on another future podcast where we can delve into a lot more different topics around property management as well.
Thank you so much, Scar. I appreciate the kind words, and really enjoyed speaking with you.
Same here. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Premium Cashflow Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please join us at premiumcashflow.com to sign up for weekly updates, research articles, and more. We will see you again for another great interview with an expert guest.